Have you ever seen those online listings for a can of fresh air from the countryside or a bottle of air from a loved one's hair? They might look silly, but someone out there is making money from selling air. In fact, one man managed to sell air for over $200,000, and he didn't even get sued for fraud. Here's how he did it and how he got away with it. Our story starts with an entrepreneur named Troy. He lived in Vancouver, Canada, where the mountains meet the sea. This is supposed to be paradise. But unfortunately, Vancouver had some of the worst air quality in the world. Now, being outdoors is healthy, but staying indoors wasn't much better because the pollution was seeping inside. One day, Troy had an idea. He bought a couple of Ziploc bags, put some fresh air from outside in the bags, sealed them up, and listed them on eBay. His asking price was 99 cents. Honestly, this was supposed to be a joke. He didn't think anyone would buy it. As it turned out, some people took him seriously, and they bid on his listings. He had to figure out what to do. Eventually, he ended up sending 2 bags of air to buyers, and they both left positive feedback. From then on, Troy knew he was onto something. Selling bags of air wasn't exactly convenient or practical, so he needed a better strategy. That's when he called up his friend Moses Lamb, who was an engineer and graphic designer. Together, they came up with a new product. They used metal canisters instead of plastic bags. They compressed the air, added some flavoring to make it smell better, and labeled it as premium mountain air. Not long after, their ads started getting clicks. They started receiving orders. At first, the sales were slow, just a few hundred cans in the first month. But they kept promoting their product, and the orders slowly started increasing. Within a year, they sold thousands of cans, and they had to ship more often. But why were people buying this stuff? What kind of sick thrill is there in breathing air that you paid for? Now, it's important to understand the target audience for this product. For the most part, it's rich people in polluted cities. Think about megacities like Beijing, Shanghai, and New Delhi. They're notorious for having horrible air quality. Everyone breathes in the pollution every day. Many of them complain about it, but no one really does anything about it. You can't escape air pollution by staying indoors either. Most buildings don't have air filtration systems. And that's why many wealthy residents will do anything to get clean air, including ordering cans of air from Canada. Of course, you can't tell just from looking at someone that they're breathing in polluted air. And that's why Troy and Moses found the perfect marketing angle. They positioned their product as a status symbol for the elite. This way, they didn't just attract customers, they attracted influencers. Many Chinese social media users saw the product as an opportunity to show off. They took videos and photos of themselves breathing in the cans and posted them online. Pretty soon, everyone was talking about the Canadian air craze. And the more attention the product received, the more orders Troy and Moses got. This wasn't a scam because what they were offering was real. The air in the can did come from the Rocky Mountains. But there was still a more bizarre twist to the story. In January of 2015, the situation in Beijing went from bad to horrific. The air quality index reached level 17 on a scale of 0 to 500. Anything over 100 is considered unhealthy, so this was extremely dangerous. Authorities urged people to stay indoors. Schools shut down. Factories shut down. Even construction sites shut down. But everyone was stuck inside, breathing in the toxic air. That's when Troy and Moses made a major move. They increased the price of their product from around $20 per can to between $30 and $50 per can. Considering what was going on, people didn't bat an eye. Some were willing to spend $100 on a single can. They didn't care. And that's how Troy and Moses made over $200,000 in 1 year. But their biggest accomplishment was that they didn't get sued. There's nothing illegal about selling air, but there have been cases of people trying to capitalize on natural disasters. If they got greedy or tried to scam people, they probably would have faced some consequences. But they stuck to their word and delivered what they promised. They got good feedback from customers, and they built a loyal base. Even today, you can find listings for their product on Amazon China. A quick search reveals that they aren't the only ones selling this stuff. There are dozens of competitors. Here's a listing from the Han Dynasty. It's a can of air from an ancient city. The seller claims the air has healing powers. There's also the Tibetan Air Company. They claim that their air can cure lung diseases. It sounds too good to be true, right? You can order air from France, the USA, Norway. This one's from someone who lives in Hong Kong. They're selling a can of air from their balcony. It's marketed as pure oxygen. Now, is any of this actually useful? Probably not. But just because something isn't practical doesn't mean it's not real. Sometimes the weirdest products become the biggest trends, and that's exactly what happened here. You can laugh at the idea of people breathing in cans of air, but there's a reason behind it. Those who can afford it want to avoid air pollution. Sure, you can install filters in your house, but you're still not guaranteed safety, and that's why some people prefer to take matters into their own hands. On the surface, this looks like a ridiculous trend, but when you dive deeper, you see that it's just people trying to solve a problem. Some people have pointed out that the entire trend could have been avoided if authorities did their job. Others say it's not the government's responsibility to control the air quality. We don't know where we stand on the issue, but we do know that air pollution is a serious problem. According to the World Health Organization, outdoor air pollution causes over 4 million deaths each year. Most of these deaths occur in low-income countries. But even in developed nations, air pollution is killing hundreds of thousands of people each year. And the numbers are only growing. So while this story is about people taking matters into their own hands, we should also acknowledge that this shouldn't be necessary in the first place. In 2015, things got so bad in Beijing that even the Great Wall didn't help. The pollution was so thick, it obscured the entire structure. Photos of the smog went viral, and governments around the world noticed. Leaders pledged to reduce emissions, but they haven't done much since. If you live in a clean environment, you might not understand why people are willing to pay so much for air. But it's hard to imagine how bad things must be in other places. Troy and Moses capitalized on this problem. They provided an outlet for people who are desperate for clean air. Of course, their solution wasn't perfect, but it was something. As for their business today, it's still going strong. They branched out to selling oxygen with different flavors. They created portable inhalers that let people breathe in filtered air. They even sold Evan Air, which means that you can buy air from concerts and festivals. Just imagine buying a can of air from your favorite music festival and reliving the experience months later. Now, we don't know how well these new products sell, but it seems like their company is still running. Their website is pretty basic, but it's still active. And considering what they did, we don't think they should be hiding anyway. They identified a real problem. They created a real solution. And yes, they made a profit. Sure, you can criticize their methods, but there's nothing illegal about what they're doing. And it's not like they're scamming people. Every can of air comes with a warning. It says that the air inside is unblended and unfiltered. It's not medical grade oxygen. In other words, it's just regular air from the Canadian wilderness. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for watching.